I'm so excited to be sharing my Snowflake Splendor sampler with you. It can be used as a scrapbook page. I'm going to pull it up to the camera so you can get kind of a closer look at all of the squares. Or each square can be used as a greeting card focal point. And then the rectangular shape over here can be used to line one of our gusseted bags. So if you don't do scrapbooking and don't want to do a sampler, you can make a few alternate projects instead. If you purchase the add-on kit from me, I included 9 card bases so you could make the greeting cards plus the gusseted bag, and I'll share how I turn this into a gusseted bag liner a little later in the video. So before I get started with all of the assembly, I wanted to share how you could pick up a square, put a mat around it, in this case rich raspberry, jazz up your card base with the winter snow embossing folder, put some stamping around the edge, and you've got an instant card. So here is one removing the rich raspberry ink and no winter snow embossing folder. And then this is just a plain card base. So step it up as much as you like if you're making the greeting cards. Before I move on to assembling each piece, I wanted to go through some of the products that I used in case you're assembling with me and need to go grab a few things. So here are all the framelits I used on the project. And these two are from the Tasteful Labels dies. This one right here is the Nature's Thoughts dies, and it's the perfect little snowman puddle right there. So if you've got dies, look at the shapes. It might not be a shape that you originally intended to use it for, but you can certainly use it for something else. So that's where that one came from. And then the 6 snowflakes came from the So Many Snowflakes dies. All right, I'll get that out of the way. And what I am going to do is assemble each square with you. So bear with me while I move a few things around and get set up for the first square. Before we get started with assembling each square, I'll share how I cut all the pattern paper down. You'll need a couple of different of the coordinating patterns in the Snowflake Splendor suite. And they're all squares, although these two are rectangular shapes. So they're all based on the fact that they are 3" or 7.1 centimeters wide. And then these two over here cut that long 3" by 7.1 centimeters. And then cut off a 3" piece off of that long strip. And then from what's left, cut off 1.5" or 3.8 centimeters. So this total length right here is that full 12" of that designer series paper. All right, so you won't use a full sheet. You've got a couple of squares left if you're stamping along with me. Just wanted to share how I cut all those down. Okay, stampers, let's start with our first square. You'll need to assemble all your favorite adhesives as well. Just have them handy while you're making this project with me. So this one, if you purchased an add-on project kit, it's the square that's multicolored with the purples and the blues, and it has this darker blue with those multi-size snowflakes on the backside. That's my first square I'm going to work with. And then I've got this shape from the In Good Taste labels. And I always forget what that die set is called. Tasteful Labels. In Good Taste is part of the suite. So that's where that one came from. And I made it easy. I'm just using the rich raspberry ink. So, and the square that we're working on will be on the upper left-hand corner. So we're going to try to get this straight. Now this, when the die is a shape and it has the stitched, there's a front and the back side. So the front side is the side that's kind of indented down and where the framelit would press into the paper. And I'm going to stand up, and this one I didn't put in the center. I placed it to the right, so there's a space for that ribbon and the snowflake. There, that looks pretty good. I like stamps or sentiments that don't need to be perfectly straight, or they trick your eye into thinking they don't need to be perfectly straight. So in this case, those handwritten words kind of fill in and make your eye kind of travel around a little bit. So if the other typeface words are not perfectly straight, I don't think you would notice it as much. All right, so I place this towards the top of that square, and we will assemble with you. So grab your tape runner. I was going to say I'll assemble with you as long as I have got tape in my tape runner, and it looks like my tape runner is pretty full, so I probably will be able to assemble everything. All right, and then this ribbon is from the Playing with Patterns suite. And I placed my tails down that way. And most of the ribbons, I cut them so that they would overhang the square, just for an easy reference if you are cutting ribbons along with me. So that's about 3.5 inches or about 9.5 centimeters. And I just folded it over like a ribbon at a fair. So I'm going to place a little bit of adhesive up there. Might have to grab my tear and tape, which I think is how or a glue dot. We'll be using a lot of glue dots to assemble this one, or this sampler, because the ribbons are they're not tied in bows. One of them is tied, but it's not a real bow. Okay, glue dot again. So glue dots are going to be your friend to attach these smaller pieces in the snowflake. Glue dot right in the center, and if you take your pick tool, the spatula side, pull that glue dot up, and then nestle your snowflake in there so it's in between your words, just like that. All right, this heart is from the Dog Builder Punch. And I'll grab that. It's right here, Dog Builder Punch, and that little heart right there. It was perfect to cover up my glue dot. All right, if you got a kit from me, you're gonna find your Elegant Gems. There are 2 of them. And I used the larger one, the larger size to go over the heart. There, that's that square. So move that out of the way, and I'll grab the next square. This is the next square. So I've got my finished squares on the right and the ones that need to be finished on the left. All right, we're done with those Elegant Gems. So this pattern is the large multicolor blue with the soft sea foam on the back side. I've got a doily. Now we're going to cover up that doily with a punch, so I can put some adhesive towards the top of that square. And before you put your doily, attach your doily, you can go like this and kind of release the chads. Chads might fall out in shipping. They're really easy to come out. Just look through the light and you can see if any of them need to be released. I think that looks good. All right, and then we've got the Thanks So Much. So I'm using sentiments from the coordinating stamp set in the Snowflake Splendor suite. Whew, pretty good. All right, got 2 of them straight. Now, if you purchased a kit from me, you would have gotten a length of this polka dotted ribbon. And I just gave you a length because it's easier to tie a bow around each other with longer lengths and just snip it off. But if you are wanting to economize what I gave you, these were about 2.5 inches. So that might be about 7 centimeters in metric. And what I did was I wanted the top bow to be kind of fluffy and the bottom tails to be kind of thinner. And it just kind of worked that way. They kind of squished on me a little bit while I tied that first sample bow. And that will go on the doily with a glue dot. All right, and then you can put some dimensionals on this one. And I should have reviewed my tag names, my punch names, but I will go through those at the end. There we go, and then just zhuzh it where you want it. Kind of move it up and down. It's just a subtle little snowflake addition to that square. Okay, so that square is done. Next up, I'm just going left to right if you're following along. Here's the next square. So this is the square with the melty snowman. This might be my favorite square. I love to figure out how to do melted snowmen on my cards. All right, so we're going to do a little stamping with this image, the multi one, just off on the side. And I kind of want to do the different snowflakes, so we've got a different pattern on either side, and that looks good. Okay. Now, let me grab my triple banner punch. Okay, I needed to do a little editing, so I'm going to back up this square. The last square that I did, this is the everyday label punch. Okay, so proceeding with this current square, we've got this strip. It's 1 by 4 inch or 2.5 by 10 centimeters. Grab your triple banner punch and flip it over. We're going to economize this time. We're not going to slide it all the way to the back. We are going to eyeball left to right the points. Make sure you're in your slot. In the slot. And then just pull it back and cut it off. Same with this side. Make sure you're in your slot and slide it in until you can just see the corners on either edge. And there we go. Okay, now I just wanted to kind of do a double banner look. Just to have a little bit of an edge hanging over there. And if you don't have the triple banner punch, you certainly need to purchase it because it can cut banners on 3 different widths. Much easier than using your paper snips to make little flags. Okay. Let's see, I did do some stamping on this tag. This tag is the Label Me Fancy. It's this one right here. And this punch has got a slot and a dot, so you can make a little hole for ribbon. It's got a slot and a dot, kind of like that. Okay, so let's get to assembling this one. So my first thing to attach would be that Label Me Fancy punch. And then the banner goes over that. Before I attach it to the base, I'm just going to attach that banner down, the top one. Give it two runs of adhesive because it's going to hold some weight. All right, and then again, this is the seamless, the white seam, white crinkled seam binding. It's a little less than 3 inches cut at angles, so that's about 7 centimeters. Again, I just eyeballed it. And I want the points, if you can look at my sample, I want the points to be mimicking the banner. So I don't want my points in the middle, I want my points on the outside. So let's flip that around so my points are on the outside. And that's just more pleasing to my eye. Things are a little bit more symmetrical. So I am going to bring in my glue dots. I said we were going to use a lot of glue dots here. See, glue dot there, and then another glue dot on the flap on the right, you know, in between where the two ribbons meet. All right, and then I gave you a couple of strips of these blue adhesive back gems. For this one, I used the larger dark blue gem. All right, now on to the part that is my favorite part here. So let's move that out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. If you got a kit from me, I punched your snowman stuff already. So your snowman builder punch has got a hat, a carrot, and 2 sticks. So we need, and the pond. So I cut the framelit twice, once in Whisper White and once in vellum. And I have the pond going this way, kind of with the pond shape, the circle curvy part closer to me. And I attached it with some glue dots. So it is vellum. So you'll see any kind of adhesive through it, but we're gonna cover up that glue dot with the hat. And I didn't totally do a cover it so it's totally covered. I kind of off-centered it a little bit, so it looks like the snow is melting. And then the hat attached with the glue dot. And then the sticks. So I opted not to color the sticks a tan. I thought if they were all melted, maybe they would be all white, right? And the just melting snow. So just put a little bit of liquid glue on there. Not a lot, because the glue will squish out. And then for the carrot nose, you can pick it up with the tip of the glue and place it right there. Cute, right? Okay, bring back in our square. And, oh, my glue dot stuck to my mat. Just gonna apply some tape runner where the puddle's gonna be. It's gonna be right there. Cute, cute, cute. Something like this might have to be my thank you cards at some point in the snowy season. Okay, so that square is done. Moving on. The next square is this square. And it uses the story label punch. So here's our sample. And for this one, I stamped just the little stream of snowflakes. And I did it a couple of times, so I didn't re-ink, and I just kind of made it a blizzard up there. All right, and here's where that strip comes into play. So decide which pattern you want. I like the purplish tones up. That's just gonna go towards the bottom. And if you noticed, I embossed this piece with the winter snow. So it's got the embossed snowflakes on there, just to add a little bit of interest. This label I didn't stamp. So whenever I make samplers, I can't decide, do I want to leave this one in my scrapbook or do I want to make them all into cards? Historically, I've always needed a lot of cards, so these make for quick cards. And that would be a good thank you card. All right, and then find your elegant gems. This one, these are the clear ones, and I used a large one instead. There are 2 sizes in this collection. Okay. All right, so that's that square done. Next square is this one. Our friendship is one of a kind. All right, so here's a framelit from the, let me look. See, I never can remember that one. Tasteful Labels dies. Our friendship is one of a kind. I'm gonna stand up because I wanna make sure I can get this straight the first time, because there is a front and a back side to this. Die cut, there you go. That looks really good. And then I have it hanging off. So a lot of my embellishments on each square are hanging off the square, and that's to add further interest. Move your eye around the sampler page, or move your eye around your card if you choose to put these on card bases. All right, and then here's this snowflake that I used, already die cut. Use your spatula to pull that up. And I gave you a strip of pearls. And I used the big pearl to go over the center, again covering up the glue dot. And then I used, pretty sure it's 8, 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 of the minis. So I've got this sheet right here that I am trying to use up. So I just started on the left side, and 8 is what fit. Maybe I will have 9 on this one, we'll see. So if you're doing this project as a sampler's got a lot of details in it. So I tried to look at all my embellishments to see what was in the white tones and all the ribbons that I had in stock. Made sure they got on the sampler. 2, 4, 6, 7. And 8. And it was just kind of fun to see everything that I had in the white tones. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yep. This one is 8 as well. And that one's down a little bit. Let me try to move it up just a twedge. There we go. Okay, so that square's done. Now, let's move on to, done with the pearls, this square. This square uses the Label Me Lovely punch. So that punch right there. And let me grab the sample, or the supply square. This one I did not do any stamping. And I'm going to close up my ink pad. No, I'm not quite done. I've got some more stamping to do. Let's see here. This one was really easy. Again, I will probably stamp a little thank you in that corner. And I have it offset, not offset, kind of hanging off on the bottom. Now here's a strip of that holographic Snowflake Splendor. And again, it runs off that square. So it's about, let's see here. I've got it written down. These were all about 3.5 inches by 9.5 centimeters. All right, and the way I attach that down would be some tear and tape. So I'm gonna try to get that straight because I want my ribbon straight. It's pretty, the tear and tape was pretty close to the width of the ribbon. There, and it is exactly, if you can get your tear and tape on straight, you can get your ribbon on straight. I think this one I didn't get it quite straight yesterday. All right, and then I use this open, or this closed kind of snowflake, not quite as delicate. And I like to use my spatula for the delicate embellishments. And then I just positioned it over So 2 are hanging over the ribbon, that point's hanging off, and that's kind of pointing into whatever sentiment I will add to my tag. All right, and then pull in your blue gems. We've got the large one in the center. And then as long as I gave you all of your gems, and this is for kits that were sold in the US. So this is something that I offered as part of an add-on to this extravaganza. Wanted to give my people a lot of options to stamp with me. So if they wanted a kit that had everything already cut and they just needed to stamp and assemble and possibly do some winter snow embossing, they had that option. There we go. So there's that square. Okay, I think I'm done with all the blue gems. All right, my squares are getting down here. Next up is a square that uses the timeless label punch. And again, I'm using a lot of different shapes for my sentiments because it's a sampler again. We want to share all these different shapes. All the different shapes add interest to your sampler or your cards. Okay, this one uses the small little snowflake in the center, and I just trying to line up in a straight line just one of the stamp images, and that looks pretty good. Okay, so since the ribbon is behind the punched image this time, I can just run a strip of adhesive behind there. Again, same length on this ribbon, about 3.5 inches, maybe about 9.5 centimeters. And then some tape runner on that. I'm using stamping seal for my project today. And then I could probably put a little stamping seal on that. And you see I came over with some of the adhesive back snowflakes. So you got a couple of strips of those in your kit as well. So just scatter those around your projects as they appeal to you. Okay, I think we're on our last project, which is the rectangular shape. I'm pulling my samples for that, my supplies. All right, so in your kit, I've got all these shapes for you. A snowman, a hat. I cut the frame. Now set your frame aside, the actual inside piece, because you use that on your card that's in your kit as well. The actual second project that I did, the greeting card. So don't throw that away, you need that. So let's just layer up the pieces here. This shape is from this stamp set, the Tailored Tag. And what I kind of wanted to do was add some snow, like coming down from in the sky, and then a snow mound at the bottom. So I need to find my paper snips. Just cut that in half. All right, and next we can start attaching some things down. There's my, I'm going to use my tear and tape because that gives me a little more control over where all the tape goes on this. So as long as I've got the tear and tape out, I will just line the whole frame with it. Okay, so there's that. Before I move on, I am going to stamp the little snowflake on the hat so I can get the ink pad out of the way. So I just had it kind of off to the side. So there's one dot, and then I came back and stamped the second dot with the third thing on the hat there. Okay, whoo, now I can close on my ink pad. I didn't get any ink anywhere that I shouldn't so far anyway, so yay for me. Okay, I'm gonna get the paper piercing mat out of the way as well. All right, so we're back to assembling. Okay, so grab your length of the Snowflake Splendor ribbon. Oop, and this is an unopened one. I need to find my open one, just a second. Okay, so found my ribbon. And what I am going to do is thread it through the front corner. So there's a little notch there between the actual border, the frame, and then the snowflake that's kind of making the frame delicate. All right, so I am going to actually work with the strength of the ribbon and put a little bit of tear and tape where I didn't have it, right on the corner. And kind of roll the tear and tape back up if you overhang where you don't want the tape. I'm gonna pull this side off. So see, we're making like a Christmas pole in the street. So secure that end down. And then wrap it. Now I'm gonna just cut some off so I've got a easier time to wrap. And I want 3, sorry, I was probably off the camera there. I want 3 pieces showing on my pole. And I'm just securing it on the back side as well, since I've got tear and tape back there. Stick it in my fingers. There we go. And then just cut it off. I'm going to put another piece of tear and tape over the whole length, because that will secure it to whatever I'm going to secure this on. All right, now I'm going to blow your minds and do something a little different. Instead of making this tag like this, I am going to make something that will fit inside of our gusseted bags. So it's the same size as what I had you cut, or what was included in your kit, which is the 3 inches. Let me get my trusty little ruler out. It's 3 inches by 19 centimeters. All right. And then all you do is, if you got your handy little template, is fold it up on that template. And that score mark is at the 1.5 inch mark. So the 6 inch mark as well. So it's 6 inch here, or 1.5 inch here, but this is 15.3 centimeters. Okay, so if you tuck this in here, I'm going to give you a couple options. And I just tucked some stamping supplies in there so you kind of see what would fit. So our elegant faceted gems will fit in there. Package of doilies. This is one of our ribbon spools, a little thicker one. Oh, the polka dotted, and then here's that Snowflake Splendor. So if you want to gift one of your stamping friends something like this, they would certainly appreciate it. And I would probably just tuck it down and tape it in the back. All right, but another way to decorate this is, instead of having the flap fold up and this in the back, you can flap it back. So when you gift it, your embellishment would be on the front, and then what you gift would be kind of hidden in the back. All right, so let's decorate my tag like I'm going to gift it. Oops. Yikes. Oh, I got a little crazy there. What happened? Something got stuck on itself. All right, so I know I've got that flap down. And I wanted to provide an additional project, because if you didn't want to do the sampler, what are you going to do with this long square? I think it would fit in that the new slimline that's sweeping the nation. It will fit in a number 10 envelope if you slap that on a very tall rectangular piece of cardstock. But in case you had the gusseted gift bags in your stash, and I also included a bag in your add-on kit, here's how you would decorate that. Okay, so I pulled all of the adhesive off. Now on the back side, I'm going to add the snowflake coming off the back, coming down from the sky, and then one drift coming up on the ground. And then this is sticking to my fingers. We got to get our snowman peeking out. So where's my glue here? Just going to put a little glue on the edge there. And peeking out on the side, just like that. Going to put some more glue on the back side. I am just going to place that down like that. Since this is a 3D item, go ahead and grab either your regular or your mini. Yes, this is all I have left of my mini package. The mini packages last a very long time because they have over 700 dots plus the outsides in a package. So there is that. Now look for your white elegant faceted gems. And I'm looking for mine. Hang on a second. Oh, right here. They were right here. Isn't that true? Whatever you need is always right in front of you. All right, and for this one, for the hat, we're gonna put the smaller size in the center of that snowflake. And then the larger size, over that snowflake. Where is it? Right here. First, though, we've got our strip to go over the top. Now, I'm gonna do another idea on you. If you put that in and fold it over about 1.5 inches, let's just do that. Fold it over a little bit. You will have enough space to tie that with some ribbon, which I think is a more finished look. But you still get that gusseted at the bottom that you can, let's throw some stuff in there so you can see where I'm going here. You'll still have that gusset at the bottom and the piece of designer series paper on the bottom to kind of open that up. There. So you can tie some of your ribbon, the holographic ribbon. There we go. Look at that. How cute is that? Wouldn't you love to get that as a gift? A gift to give to your neighbor or to your coworker? Love it. Oh, and I forgot to even add, I got so excited about sharing how to make this into a gusseted bag with a ribbon on top that I forgot to use this somewhere. Well, if you're making this a slimline card, certainly put your ribbon up there. This is from the Flowers for Every Season ribbon, if I'm remembering right. And what happened to my snowflake? I think everything just kind of went out the door. There we go. When I got so excited to share. Look at this. Look at how I'm going to use this tool. When I got so excited I was going to share that gusseted bag tied with a ribbon. All right, so that snowflake will go over there, and then that glue dot is kind of peeking out, so use one of the white elegant faceted gems, the larger size, to cover that up. This could actually be, oh, we're getting a little creative here. I'm filming this in the morning when I've got more of my ideas flowing. Let's open that up. You can kind of tuck that in. Oh, cute. Oh, I think that will actually work. Look at that. Love it. Okay, what's going on here? It's not laying where I want it to lay. There you go. Look at that. Okay, I hope you liked my video sharing how to create a Snowflake Splendor sampler or turn them into some greeting cards, some gift packaging. My other video features this card. Again, if you got a add-on kit from me, make sure you save this piece because it goes on your card like that. And last, I am going to do a mini catalog tour in case you were not aware of where all the supplies are that I used in my project. So on the August to December catalog, these Snowflake adhesive back gems are on page 29. They are not part of the Snowflake Splendor suite. I need to point that out. The rest of the suite is here. I used all of these products between my two projects today. And then here's the stamp set and the dies. And then in the annual catalog, I used quite a few products from the annual catalog. And I just like to point this out in case you aren't aware of everything that I'm using. Oh, that one we didn't use any. Sorry. All right. We used today the square vellum doilies. And also the printed gusseted bags are on page 152. You get 25 bags in a package. And then embellishments. Like I said, I went through and used all of the whites. So the basic pearls, the elegant faceted gems in both colors, the ribbon page. Here's where the last ribbon that I did not use on the rectangle, but I saved it and used it on the bag instead. So it's from the Flowers for Every Season combo pack. Very first ribbon that I used was this white and purplish tinted from the Playing with Patterns. Seam binding is down here, number 16. Polka dot is over here, and number 6. All of the punches that I used: story label, tailored tags, label me fancy, label me lovely, everyday label, and timeless label. Also the snowman builder on page 167 and the dog builder for the heart. The framelits from the annual catalog that I used were the tasteful labels, so I used 2 of those in that. All right, so thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed my videos. Hope you're enjoying our Black Friday event, keeping you company during Black Friday and in the days and the weeks ahead. And we're so glad you decided to join us, and we'll stamp with you soon. Bye.